Good morning.
Hey.
So happy to see you. Oh my goodness. So I'm just gonna lay it on you because it's very fitting.
Cool.
So as we spoke yesterday, as we spoke last week, we talked about, it feels like yesterday, we talked about intention setting.
Mhm.
And I had shared which one I felt that I was ready to tackle, I guess, because this week has brought a lot up. And one of the things that I was playing around with was the concept of, if you want to let something go, do you first have to feel it?
Mhm.
You first have to go through whatever and actually feel what you're letting go in order to let it go. And that theory has come to fruition from not only different experiences throughout the week, just different conversations I've had with people about fear on different levels, right? It's not necessarily like there was some energetic level conversations. There's also some 3D world conversations, some deep, some light, but I'm definitely putting it out there like, hey guys, like this is what I'm doing this month, or like a conversation happened and it linked to the intention of letting go of fear and not letting that dictate your decisions, and not letting that, what the cards call it dimming your light kind of idea, right?
Yeah.
And I apologize if I'm a little bit choppy with my words, but last night was very meaningful. But I'm going to rewind just one more day. So the night prior was a dream about a person telling me that something's not going to happen. And my response to that thought, or that that intention, was like, F you, like I'm doing it, right? And it was good. Like I woke up and I was like, all right, that was interesting. It all made sense. When I woke up, I wasn't in a state of like
Panic.
Panic or like lower vibrations. It was kind of just like, I did that. I showed them, kind of thing. But not like ego, like
No, like
it's just kind of like, power. Like, I got this, right? Like you message me. And I talked to my partner about it, and he gave me an interesting insight. He's like, maybe that was fear in a form of a body, like embodiment, right? And I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. Like I never would think that, your mind or your spirit chooses to go through something and then allowing it to be like a visual, like this is a person. But it's actually a reflection of just like your fear, your emotions, whatever you're trying to shed.
Yeah.
So that one was nice. And I go about my day and feel like I'm good. And yesterday was I feel like it was a pretty typical day. You do your thing, and still something a little lingering, because the dream has those powers over you. Just kind of lingers a little bit. You're trying to process everything. Yeah, a little ripple. So last night, I guess it would be this morning, I woke up at about 1 o'clock, 20 after 1. And that's not normally the nice time to wake up when you're like dorveille, like when you get up and you like have thoughts and stuff like that. It's kind of a little too early from what I've understood to be our like prime intuition time is like between 2 and 4. And this was a little early. So I was like, what's going on here? So that happened. And I woke up from a dream that was a sensation of fear, sensation of the unknown. It was me being me, but having that emotion about something that was like over there, like something that was like behind a wall or like behind something. Like I couldn't see it, but I was scared of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I woke up and I was like, twice in a row. Like, come on, guys. But this one was like, I woke up with like, whoa, like that one's a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And I thought of you. I was just like, Jess would get up and like, she would journal, right? And I was just like, okay, I was like laying there and I was like, all right, I'm going to get up and journal. So with the intention of trying to journal it out and work that self through the pen and through the paper, I did a cleanse. So I guess I kind of forgot to mention this, that yesterday I had this urge. I was like, I want to come home and I want to like smudge my house. Like I feel like I have the biobotanicals, the herbs and the leaves and everything was ready. And I was like, I just want to like make sure that I'm ready, like energetically wise, so I can put it out there. And like, it's still like the new quarter of the moon. So I'm like, cool with that. And so last night when I was like, okay, I'm going to journal, I went downstairs and I'm like, no, I'm going to clean my spirit. I'm going to use Mother Nature, and to help me release or just ground back down. Right.
Like this is at 1 a.m.
This is at 1:18 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 a.m. is when I woke up. 1:18 is when I started the cleansing process. And it was needed. It was definitely needed. I breathed in the clearing, the energy clearing smoke. I was honoring a lot of different entities. I was also honoring the dream. Like I was also honoring the fact that, I'm going through this and I recognize it, and it is what I've intended to. I just, you don't know how it's going to play out.
No.
And I pulled some cards and I was just very much like creating a very white light around me, like again, I feel like your teachings about if you're at this vibration level and other lower vibrations can't sustain, right? So I had that in my aura. I was like, okay, like repeating things that make me light, like, and just like bringing myself back up and being like, this is what needs to happen, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even know what time the sleeping happened. But again, it was a very curious experience. And I was talking to my partner about it again. And I was just like, somebody has told me that once you're opening up to ideas of energy and to ideas of different vibration and to these different ways of walking through life, you also are opening up not only like light, but you're also opening up dark. Like that's just Mother Nature, right? She has both. And I just feel like I'm just starting to get used to the idea of, okay, I'm opening up and I'm sharing and I'm exploring. but it gives me those challenges of like, it's not always going to be rainbows and unicorns, you know, like sometimes you're going to tap into things that are uncomfortable, or that challenge your spirit, that challenge your other things, right? Like things that I'm not used to being challenged. Like, I could lift that couch up, no problem. But like, you tell me to face a dream that has an entity of fear behind a wall, and I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my, like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, this morning I messaged you and I was just like, I just need a little bit extra time. But on the other side of it, I was like so full of joy and excitement to have this conversation. I was like, how timely is this? I was like, again, it's proof that we create this space. And when you or I or whoever needs to like express it, talk about it, it's like, bam, it's right there. Like, let's talk about it. Let's journey through it together. And I don't think, you know, before I had those types of connections with people where I can be like, so, you know, like this happened. And like, it wasn't like a dialogue. It was kind of like them listening, and that's good. But at the same time, I'm glad like I'm releasing this to you, and I'm just like, cool, like this is my experience. And I'm sure you might have been like, oh, maybe I'm going to mention that to her. I see that, or maybe you're just listening. But it's like, I was super stoked that today was Wednesday. And I was like, I get to go talk about this in a safe space to somebody that gets it. So
I love it.
Thank you for listening. That's it. I'm off. Okay, bye guys. See you next week. We're done.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That was I totally feel you on the timing. Like I feel like it's great timing for this. I had a very similar conversation yesterday with my friend Jenny. And so as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, and I'm seeing it in my life right now too. It's cool. It's all kind of filtering in right now, you know? Okay, well, like, what do you want to do with the dreams? Because, like, I'll just kind of share my idea here with it, but I'm curious. Okay. So, yeah. So, like, I've had so many dreams like that where you're faced up against some sort of fear, right? And at the beginning, I would be really afraid of it, and I would close my eyes in the dream, or kind of like, you know, like. And then I got to a point where I was kind of in kind of like the F you stage, you know, where I would be like pushing back at it and stuff. And then I went through a phase of like, and we talked about it on here, right? Like calling it out, and you're really big on this, right? Like naming it, right? And being like, and this is what Jenny and I were talking about, is like saying to it, like, your illusion, you aren't real, you know, this has no power, even though it might feel like it does. And so I had a dream this week where I was like kind of half lucid, I guess. And I was trying to levitate or lift myself up, because I enjoy the feeling of it in a dream, like just kind of like flying or levitating. And anyways, this energy picked me up, and it was spinning me backwards and kind of like rotating me backwards and like spinning me. And the first spin, when I went around, I saw like two really big like feet, like it was like, or like legs and feet. And then I shut my eyes because I didn't want to see, like I was like nervous. So I shut my eyes and I just kind of let the energy like move me around and stuff. And I've had dreams like this before where like I've felt like somebody's picked me up, you know, but when I came out of the dream, I was like, I don't know if that's a loving energy. Like, I didn't feel like it was 100% like pure love, you know, like, and I kind of had this sensation like it was fear trying to pretend to be something light, and it was kind of like teasing me or like intriguing me with like the levitating kind of thing, because you know I'm intrigued by it, right? And so I like I basically like asked this energy like, oh yeah, okay, I just remembered this too. So as I'm like rotating and have my eyes closed and I'm feeling a little nervous, right? I'm not 100% comfortable. And so I ask the energy, I go, oh, can you play some like comforting music for me right now? Because I was like, maybe it is a high vibe thing and I just need to like ease myself into it, and some music will kind of like help me relax, right? So I asked the energy, I'm like, can you just play some like something comfortable for me or whatever, right? No music, nothing played. And then I came out of the dream. And so I was laying there and I was like, oh, like that's weird. Like when you ask, it is given always, right? In love and light, when you ask, it is always given. And so I thought that was really like peculiar. And so yeah, I like asked, I basically had that realization where I was like, are you light, you know, or are you like whatever? And so it was like confronting it, and then it like basically like it couldn't produce an answer for me. Like it couldn't give me like yeah.
It was like, what's music? I don't
Yeah.
understand what music is.
Yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then I basically told it, I was like, you gotta go. I was like, and the wording is kind of funny, but I'll always tell it energies like that. I say, I command you to leave and never return. And I'll like kind of like lay and wait, you know, and listen and feel and all that. And typically, like a typical reaction will be just like a relaxing of the body, and I'll just feel like good, and I'll be like, yeah, I don't feel it here anymore, kind of thing. And then there's other ones where they're like more significant, you know, like more like leave-in or whatever. Anyways, so my question is like, what, and I'm asking myself this too, is like, what direction do you want to take your dreams, and why do you want to dream lucidly? And I was thinking about this for like Jenny yesterday too. We were talking about it. It's like, why do we want to dream, right? And what is our intention for it? And maybe the idea just came to me of like light and dark, right? Like it's like daytime, nighttime, right? Like, can your intentions be the same for both? Or do you want to have different intentions? And yeah.
Or is it just an extension of your light? Like,
Yeah.
is it necessary in order for you to progress, that it's almost like you have to continuously study? It almost reminds me of like some people after high school, they have an option, like, do they want to take a couple of years off before they go to the next step? Or do they want to just continue on with whatever education, whatever training they want to do?
Yeah.
And it's almost like, if you're putting something, intention, in motion in your waking life, it would make sense that you'd be able to progress a lot more effectively if you continued it in your sleep as well.
Yeah.
But what just came to me, and what I've been sensing the last couple of days, is like I've been sensing a lot of fatigue.
Yeah.
And I'm almost wondering if the 24-hour working on the intention, or on what direction you want to go, also needs a pause.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where, you know, some people can add in their meditation. So maybe a meditation is a form of a pause of the direction of your intention, of that forward or even backwards, because sometimes you go back and forth.
Yeah.
Or like a hobby or something else to kind of take you out of that rhythm, to give like your energy a chance to like stop vibrating and just like let the pebbles settle, you know, like
Yeah.
let the whey and the curds, you know, I was doing a little bit of
Love
goat
it.
milk this week. Anyways, but let the whey and the curds like settle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe the curds will wash away. And then once you come back into the process again, you
Mhm.
have less curds and you can start to figure everything out again.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about like doing it consciously and doing it subconsciously. So in the wake and in the sleep, I think that
Yeah.
it's just something that if you're like, if you really want it to happen, you most likely have to continue it on a long term with breaks in between. And the breaks can be during the day and the breaks can be during the night, like,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
but, oh, I wonder. Because I wonder also, is that once you reach a certain point in your manifesting or your intention, like what I was just thinking, like last night was quite strong, and maybe that was like a peak point, and maybe I reached that point because of all the work that I've been doing since the last week, and now like maybe I'm gonna have to take like a couple days off, like no journaling, no feeling it, like just maybe I need to come back down and do very other things that takes me out of that, and then my energy can kind of recoup from everything that I've learned, and then it can go back up again.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, cyclical.
Yeah. But always cycling.
Mm-hmm. Rather than it just keep going, because I feel like even physically you can't just keep going. You need a rest and recovery time.
Yeah. I threw out this paper the other day, even though it's a drawing I really love, and I don't know why I did it, but anyways, I'd like to draw it here just quick.
Wow.
This reminds me of yeah, I'm just gonna draw it really fast. Okay, so this, okay.
Yeah.
So the top one you could think of as like evolution, right? It's like you're always cycling, but you're gonna have like kind of low points, you know, but then you're gonna come out like higher than where you started, right? Like your next cycle will be higher up, kind of thing.
I feel like I just said that, like,
Yes, I know. Yeah.
maybe, well, I swear I wasn't just with you, but I was just talking about that like yesterday or the day before. And it's like, yeah, I totally get that. It always, you're always going to come up higher after you come down a little bit. And then it's like the next stage, you're going to be here. And then you're like, do. But then the next stage, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally feel that.
I had drawn another one. Yeah. So the bottom one you could think of as kind of like a downward spiral, right? If you were like kind of letting, you know, we'll leave it at that. And then the middle one, I kind of saw, you know, like the DNA strand, right? Yeah. And so the word that had come to me on that one was timeless. And so I don't know if like maybe you could just be tapping into all three of these at different times, you know? And anyways, yeah, I'll leave it at that. That was I knew when I was throwing it out, I was like, oh, I love this, but I was like, I don't need to carry this paper around anymore. And so
you just draw it whenever you feel like you need to explain it.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a dream like Monday night, and it was basically Jacoby and I were sitting at the table, and I had this like weight on my hand. It was invisible, but it was kind of like the size of like a soap bar, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And it felt really heavy, like almost like a magnet force, like pushing my hand down, right? And so I was sitting there, and
which hand? Your right hand?
Right hand, yeah. And so I say to him like, oh, I like the idea was like, oh, I need to like drop this, you know, like I need to drop this heaviness. Like it's time for me to let go of this heaviness, right? And so I kind of like envisioned this like bar soap slipping off my hand, or as if I was like dropping a rock into the water kind of thing, you know? And then Jacoby says to me, he's like, I think you have to like fully shut the door. And the general idea that I came out of the dream with was like, and you were talking about this last week too, right? Is like fully finishing it, right? Like even in the drawing here, right? It's like you're still finishing the cycle, but it's like it's still a full circle, but it is kind of like still going forward, you know? But it is like fully wrapping it up. And that was like the theme of it. And to tie it into last week too, is like with the tying up of loose ends and stuff, right? And like filtering things into kind of one momentum. Yeah. That's what I got.
Wow, it's an active week for dream realm.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's something that you do have on more of a frequent basis, like you do experience and remember and play with it within the dream realm a lot anyways, like on a regular basis, more or less. But for me, it was just like, it is all this.
Yeah.
This new learning.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, like back to your question about like what direction do you want to take your dream? It's for me, I think that it's still at the beginning stages, that there's a possibility, there's this big possibility that I'm still not too sure yet. It's almost like I'm ready to be open, you know. I'm super curious. I understand. I honor it. Like it's there. And I can definitely feel that it is going to be for the positive, you know, it's going to enhance.
Yeah.
But as far as like north, south, east, west, like the direction of the dreams, like it's that's still something that I don't think I have like an intention for. It's almost like I'm still working through, and maybe it's that imbalance too of me being very rooted and very grounded and not as much power kind of in the higher triangle, that I'm still like I still feel like I need to work through stuff here before I can like play with stuff that's up there. But at the same time, I feel like I've probably already worked through everything that I need to. Like I think I'm just like kind of anchoring down in my comfort zone, right? And just being like, no, I can just still help here because I know how to do that really well.
Yeah. I totally feel that with you. I feel like you're already doing a lot of things, but you're like consciously watching yourself in, like you're saying, beginning steps, but I feel like you're already doing like c'est déjà fait. C'est déjà fait.
Oh là là. Je suis déjà là.
Yeah.
But I think like with any new thing, you're just like, you want to, and that's why it's great to have like you and different healers in the life, because it's almost like they get to like just help you hold your hand a little bit and like you could go that way. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Totally no.
Yeah. And once you have the intention, it's like it has a momentum of its own. Like you're just holding on for the ride.
I do love some roller coasters. It's been a while.
Yeah. That's cool.
Right.
do you want to share what's in your tea today? Shift a little bit here.
Yeah, I was intentionally looking for herbs that matched last night's cleansing, clearing. So I have sage from a spot where I volunteered at last summer, that I had like every week I was like, I just need a little bit more sage. So I dried some and I have that. Cool. I did choose to put hyssop in here. So hyssop is good for the nerves, good for anxieties, that kind of, not a sedative, not a valerian root, but it's more of just like a peace kind of feeling. And then I threw in some burdock root to promote blood cleansing type entities. And then last night, to complement the clearing, I made, it was kind of cute. I made like a valerian root. So I had valerian root, I had sage leaves, and I had calendula petals. So when I looked at it and I drank it, I was like, I'm drinking like all three levels of the healing. And I thought that was really precious. I was like, look what I did, like intuitively. That's so cool. I'm so excited.
I'm so cute.
So I'm wearing green, like a leaf.
I like the green. Yeah, it's nice.
That was another thing that kind of came to mind today. I was just like, I'm wearing like best friend, you know, like grandma's underneath with the necklace. And like, I just feel like I had to wrap myself in love today. So
that's
a lot of different things. Yeah. And people might not realize that either, like little intentional gestures or something like could just help you, support you through little funks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's nice that people we exchange things rather than, you know, I'm going to a store and just buying whatever's on the shelf, whatever's on sale. This just feels more like friends. Yay.
Yeah, I gotcha.
How about you? You got some tea in there?
Yeah, I got some tea. I've been actually drinking out of a teapot. It was at the house we're renting right now, and it was just it was here, and yeah, just this last week I've been excited about it. But yeah, I did so we call this one yellow mellow, but it's kind of shifted as time's gone on, and this one has a lot of stuff in it. Like I'd like to kind of dial it into a more like consistent thing if we were to like do it for production eventually. But so chamomile and lemongrass and ginger leaf is in there right now. But I've also done it with ginger peel before, and that one's a bit more of a vibrant ginger. And then there's dandelion and calendula. So it's like all like when you brew it, it's a yellow tea, and all the flowers going in are yellow. And it was funny because when I was making it this morning, I doubted myself when I was making it. I was like, oh, do I want to be making like a chamomile tea right now? You know, like it's like morning, you know, and I was feeling like super awake. And then when I sat down, like right before we got on the call, I was like kind of buzzing, and I was like, yeah, I need this tea right now.
You balance it all out.
Yeah, but it's fun, and I love the lemongrass. Like it's fun.
I think it's super fascinating that you have access to ginger leaf.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I mean, I know that you guys had successfully grown it, so I think that it's pretty special that, because because I don't think I've ever seen that in stores, or maybe I haven't looked, that it is the fruit of your labor, right? Like it's something that you might not be able to reach in your stores, but if you grow it yourself, you'll have access to that. So.
It's fun to like learn new ways to use food, and like all the ways. It's like you said you're using like roots, leaves, and flowers. You know, you're using all aspects of the plant, and that's definitely something it's taught me for sure. Is like there's so many things to get creative with, like fresh, dried, frozen, dehydrated, canned, like all of it. You know, like never ending. It's
abundance.
Yeah, straight up.
Abundance. It just, that made me, I don't have the book with me right now, but the book that I messaged you about a couple weeks ago about the Quebec herbalist. And she does talk about the different medicinal contributions from each of the part of the plant, right? So when you said dandelion, I'm like, I wonder if she's talking about like the flower, the leaf, or the root, because they all three of them have different medicinal properties. And I'm really excited that I'm learning this kind of stuff, because I think that the more like I can gain knowledge and I can pass knowledge over, but then also if I pass knowledge over, people will start to open up to the concept of like, I don't just need to have, use ginger root. I can use ginger leaf, or I can use, like different parts of the plants. And it's, again, like it's that mentality of abundance, but it's also that, like that empowerment that people, if you just learn some things, you can like take your health into your own hands and help others. And it's like just a different route. And it all comes from people passing their knowledge through the generations, through the people. So I think that's really important thing that we're starting to open up to, and not be like, no, this is my specialty. You can't have any of it. And I'm gonna go to my grave with all my knowledge. Just pass them on. I promise I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to take your land or your money. I would like just to take your knowledge and do my own thing with it. You know?
Well, speaking of taking it to the grave, I would like to connect. I think this is part of my intention for my dream space, because I feel my intentions are shifting too right now as I enter this new chapter. And when you said that there, I was like, yeah, I want to connect in dream space with whether it's people who have passed on, like ancestral, or even like traditional medicinal remedies, or like ways to interact with the plant differently, or like tips and tricks and info like that. It's always been there, but I feel like I can put some strong intention into it moving forward, and the timing will fit nicely.
That's brilliant. I'm totally going to steal it. I'm totally going to steal that. Like, what's my direction for my dream? Maybe it's that, because that makes sense. Wow.
It's like, why not? We're interested in it. It's like I'm seeing and hearing all this stuff anyway. It's like it might as well, why not?
Learn while you sleep.
Effortless.
Well, maybe for you.
Not every time, but literally asleep. Got to get myself in a relaxed state. Cool. I did this little, I wrote this down on my, like, I always write a sheet out of like, like, I'm sure you do this, like intentions or stuff you want to talk about, and notes from the chat and stuff. And last week I had written down this thing I had done with some of our market stand plants. and I didn't get to it, but I want to bring it up right now. So it was, I basically like sat in my bed and was like connecting to different plants. And I've always been drawn to like lavender, right? That was the first one I did where I was like, okay, like connect with lavender right now. What's something I don't know about the plant that like I want to learn right now? Like, what is something that could help, you know, like it's hard to put into words, but I was like connecting with lavender. Anyways, and then I was like, okay, well, why don't I do this for like the other plants that are like our veggies, you know? Like I'm always thinking of it as like medicinal and like healing and like very mystical, right? But I was like the veggies are pretty hilarious. Like they're just like, I don't know, it's like a farmyard, you know? Like it's like, anyways. So the first one I connected with was like the Salanova mix, right? Like the lettuce mix that we were picking. And so like the first thing that came to me was like, it was a very feminine energy and it was quite bubbly. And it was like really happy to like be a part of the stand, and it really liked being like kind of like the center of the market stand and like being like that really steady Eddie solid product for people, you know. But yeah. And then the other thing that came through was like it really liked your point. So when we were harvesting in the summer, you had brought up, oh, I wonder if you harvest it like clockwise versus counterclockwise, right? And you were like interested in the harvesting method and stuff. And so it was like, basically the message was like, Salanova loves that you brought that up and like thinks it's super cool. Oh my God.
It's
so
like, it reminds me of like the girl who like just gets along with everybody, right? It's kind of like,
yeah,
like kind of pretty, you know,
yeah.
but like humble, but like super excited to be there. Like, yeah, that's well, I'd like to be friends with a Salanova
Yeah.
for sure. Seems like a good person.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah. It was really fun. It surprised me. I didn't expect that to come through, but it came through really strongly. Anyways, the next one I connected with was carrot, and this one was completely different. It was a lot more like, you know, I said steady Eddie for Salanova, but I would rather put that for carrot, you know, like it's just like really solid, doesn't say much, happy to be here, you know, just like really consistent. And especially with like the whole aspect of it, like root, right? Like being a root and very vibrant. But yeah, it was more like that vibe, I guess, that I got from it. It was,
but for me, it reminds me of like more of an elegant top. Like it has an elegantness to it, but also like a rootedness to it.
Yeah.
And the color contrast is very appealing as well, because you have like the chlorophyll and then you have the minerals kind of concept, right? But yeah, I could see it being a little bit more like a little more reserved, a little bit more like, I know you're gonna pick me. I'm happy you're gonna pick me. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of good things taste good.
Yeah, and like super consistent and a crowd pleaser. Like everybody likes carrot, you know. It's like the word is like regal, you know, like
regal,
like yeah, like wait exactly. I feel what you're saying there. It's like elegant, like yeah. I think I have it written here. I can't remember the other ones as much, but okay, I do remember this one. So I had do you remember it's called topepo rosso. It's the red peppers. They're like the Italian red peppers we have. They're like the stout, so they're a bit more stout and the walls are really thick on them. They're an heirloom pepper, but I've just been obsessed with them since day one, like since we've grown them. And I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it. I just love it. And yeah, every year.
Even when you were saying it, I was like, she like pepper? Like she's.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not like a huge pepper eater, but I love them for roasted red peppers. So like letting them get their full red color and then like I don't know what it is. It's like a timeless thing for me. But in the garden, when we first grew them, like in our little backyard garden, we had a fire pit in the backyard and this like tripod like grate that would go over it. And so we built a fire, and then I just like loaded the whole grate full of these peppers, and then like put it on the fire and just like rotated them and roasted them and got like a black char around all of them.
Yeah.
And then as I was peeling them, it was just like all this oil was coming out of them. Like it was just this gorgeous like orange oil. And I just was like, you know, I'm in love. Like I just, oh my God, it's so good. So anyways, I want to find my notes here because I loved it. It was so funny. So I connected with Topepo. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so first thing that comes through right away is a male energy. Like, okay. And I got it like, so it's an Italian heirloom, right? So it was like a male Italian energy. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll just read some of the notes here. So loves that I'm so stoked about it, and finds the Italian spin very amusing, and enjoys playing that role. Yeah. So I don't remember actually why I had written this, but I had written, the slower the process, the richer it becomes, and soak it all in. So those were like two things. I can't really remember.
Is the grow time really long?
Yeah, it's like a full season one. Like you start it early spring and then it'll go till it frosts. Yeah, I can't remember why I wrote that, but yeah. It also gave me this visual of like, so you know, like you plant a pepper, right? And when you're planting it in the farm, if you don't stake it, it can get kind of top heavy with the peppers, and it's just on, it's on like one stalk, you know, so it can, I had this visual of like putting really thick mulch around the stalk.
Okay.
And it was basically like, it won't be too much, you know, because like when you plant a tree, you can't mound the mulch too high, or it's like suffocating the tree, right? Like it has kind of like, I don't know, like an air line, you know, like a line where you can mulch it to there, but anything too much higher, it can like kill the tree. So, but with peppers and a lot of veggies, it's like if you bury the stem, it'll just start growing out new roots from it, right?
Okay.
So yeah, this like it was like a visual came to me, and it was like, yeah, like I saw this pepper plant and it was just mounded really high with mulch, and the idea was kind of like it'll help it in its with the weight and like wind and that type of stuff. So that was really cool. And then it just says he was like
Gas, yes.
Yeah. So he was like the plants can handle lower water levels, and I think this kind of ties into the mulch, right? It's like,
okay,
it doesn't mind, it's not fussed if it's a little lower on the water. And I know with like jalapenos, if you water them less, then they become spicier, right? Or like any
I've
hot
heard
pepper.
of that. Yeah.
So maybe like the oils will be richer or something in the pepper. So I don't know.
The plant will naturally produce more oils in order to compensate for the lack of water.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like it's like putting stress on the plant, but not too much. It's just like pushing it just enough to like produce and like push itself to produce a really good product, but it's like it's still within that range, like comfortable range.
I feel like that should be the mantra for all of us. Be like,
you
just need to be pushed just a little bit into the stress, but not too much, just enough that you can like extend your roots and nice.
So this was the last thing that came through, and I'm curious. Okay, so it says it was
there's a lot of that going on. You were doing this earlier too. I'm like, are you waking it up, or is it like foggy, or is it like
I don't know.
The sleep?
No, I feel really good today. Like I feel really awake.
And maybe it's like, it's a magnet and you're like, whoa, it's so alive. See to feel it, make sure it's still alive. Wow, it's like, wow. No, I see that about you. I'm just like, oh, you're in a nice energy right now. And I'm like,
yeah,
like, hey.
it's feels good today. Today feels good.
Good.
Okay, so the message was like, okay, so when you have a pepper plant, right, you have a ton of seeds on the inside.
Yep.
And I always end up saving way too many seeds. Like I never need that many. And this message was like, make a paste with like these. Okay, sorry, I'm missing something here. Okay, so the seed of a pepper plant, right? It's like, it kind of has like a jacket on it. And then the inside, there's like an inner seed, which would be like a bit softer, right?
Okay.
So this message was like, take out the inner seed, like take the shell off, and use the inner bits of the seed and make a paste with it. And then I just have some bullet points here, but I wrote like onto other plants / the pepper plant itself. And then I kind of got an idea of like a pruning paste, you know? So like say you're pruning arms off the pepper plant, and you prune it, and then this paste you could almost like wipe on the cut to help it, just like help it heal. And then and then the other two words I wrote were like sealant and antiseptic.
I was thinking more of like a antiseptic fungal or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that one kind of reminds me of like with the herbs and like the medicinals, right? Like I feel like
Stinging nettle comes to mind. Oh, you paused. You paused in like thought. You were like this. And I thought you were just in thought, but it was actually the internet that like paused for a second. I'm like, are you there? Or are you just thinking? Yes, medicinal plants.
Yeah. So it paused on stinging nettle. So you do that with stinging nettle.
Stinging nettle has like similar properties, right? So it's if you get the sting, I think maybe it is a sister plant that's around it that you use to help with the sting, but I thought that there was something that you can also use the plant to help with the sting. Like I thought there was something of a relation to that as well. But it's like all in the same like little spot, right? Either you have like the plants that grow with stinging nettle that'll help with your sting.
Oh my God.
But also stinging nettle is like, I think we've talked about this before, is like the bee's knees in green compost. Like if you want to regenerate your land, plant a shitload of stinging nettle, let it green compost, give it a year, and your land will be rich.
Wow.
It's like the queen, they say. Yeah, she's one of my favorites.
Wow. I love that it's like the plant that stings you also gives you the remedy for it, you know? It's so beautiful. Like, oh.
She knows what she's doing, that Mother Nature.
Yeah, she does. Oh shit, good.
I know we had chatted a little bit about making the show and dividing it into episodes, not episodes, but seasons.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So I know we both agreed on that would be very fitting. I think that's a great idea. I think that it kind of gives us a little bit of time to either come up with new ideas or new experiences, or just to kind of let our vibrations kind of take a little bit of a rest. Because like I said, Tuesdays, Wednesday mornings, I'm like, yes, I get to do this, I get to talk. So yeah, I don't know if you still have an idea of like a time frame, or like but just kind of forewarning people out there that are listening that it's like keep watching, but at the same time, it's like, don't be surprised if one day we're like, so this is the last one for a little bit. We're gonna go on to the 3D realm and sort some stuff out and come back with new energies and new experiences for sure. So
yeah, I feel that for sure. And I mean, definitely we've talked about this, like the vision that I see for this is in the garden, moving towards that direction. I could see it being, yeah, like, you know, season 2's in the garden kind of thing, like that kind of style, and all the other details will work themselves out. But yeah, I feel that. Even my intentions for today were kind of like, because of that dream I had where it was like, you need to like fully close the door, right? It's like, and we're moving all our like belongings and stuff right now. It's like everything's transitioning into this new space. And it was like, you know, tie up loose ends and kind of like, you know, wrap it up, you know, like in whatever way. There was the only other thing I wanted to mention, if we got time here, I just wanted to say, like, in this wrapping up and tying up loose ends is like, so in episode 2, I had talked about this opportunity that had presented itself to us, right? And my feeling towards it was kind of like, I don't know, like it's not totally where we thought we were going, but maybe it's for us and blah, 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 blah. Like, I never followed up with that. And I just wanted to say that we did end up, for listeners and stuff, it's like we did say no to that option. We turned it down, and we basically accepted where we were at and said, okay, like we're going to keep going and, you know, put in a good season and all that. And then within, I don't even know the timeline, but basically then this opportunity presented itself.
A new opportunity. Yeah.
A new opportunity presented itself, and it was like super effortless, very much in alignment, and has like the process, we did pursue that one because it felt so right. And the process has been very easy and effortless. And yeah, I just wanted to like throw that in there to kind of bring it back around, you know, and not just leave that kind of like lingering on
like the suspense is killing me. What happened? You know?
Yeah. And yeah. And it is like, if it's not 100% what you want, it's like, don't feel like you need to do it, you know? It's like there's an infinite number of opportunities that will come to you, and you get to choose which one you want. And if it feels good, then it feels good, and you'll feel like, yeah, I want to do this, you know, like motivated, inspired, like. And if it doesn't, it's like, don't second guess it, you know, because that was, yeah, don't second guess it.
Well, not only that, but don't try to, what did you were hauling something into like a narrow space, right?
Yeah.
So not only second guessing it or yourself, but it's just like, I think what sometimes we struggle to realize is that when it's right, it'll all line up. And I think some of us have this idea that you have to like struggle for success, so you have to like triumph over tragedy kind of like concept, like you feel like you almost have to suffer a little bit in order for it to be like, it's going to happen because I'm going to work through it really good. And it's another healer has mentioned that to me before too, that concept of just like, you actually, the universe doesn't want you to suffer for stuff. Like it wants to give you, it'll present it to you, and then you decide if you're gonna like have to work too hard for it or if it's like a good flow, and you can step into it. But I think that's very fitting, especially for me personally right now in this moment, with conversations that I'm having. I'm very grateful that you mentioned that, and I think that just like sparked some very important lessons that, I think 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 some very important lessons that that I learned the hard way. And
Yeah.
with you just telling me, reminding me like, hey, by the way, if it's not fitting, you don't have to carry it. You can drop it and make space for something new. So thank you for that. That was very timely.
Yeah, cool.
Very timely.
Another thing that just came to mind too is like with teachers, what can happen is the teacher can get stuck in perpetual student mode, where it's kind of like this, I have to learn more before I'm ready to teach, right? I have to know more before I'm ready to share.
Been there, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
likewise. And when I just feel like you and I thrive in the garden and in the farm, and that is a very comfortable space for both of us. And I do feel it is, I guess, like a guide for us, you know? Yeah. Do you feel that?
And I guess other people won't really feel what I feel, but it's almost like I present all the different options or all the different gifts that are presented to me. And each one I go through them and I'm like, think about that one. How do you feel? And not comparing, but it's almost like I understand what each one brings to me just by like lining them up. I'm very linear.
Cool.
And just like you talking about it, and I was just thinking about what I'm reading about, and even like I started to associate myself with like an herbalist. Like I start to use the terms now, and I start to, parce que je veux être une certaine personne. I want to be somebody. Therefore, I'm doing the actions et je me présente comme ça. And that's very empowering. And I think that, I feel a lot of, I don't have a word to describe it, but it makes sense, for lack of a better term, what we do. And hopefully what we will be doing together in collaboration. So again, very timely.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Well, I mean, let's be thankful and let's call it a day.
Okay.
Maybe a nap. For me anyways. You're good for a run. You should go on a little run and just like brighten up any route you take. Me, I'm I'm ready to eat a little more and just like soak it all in. It's good. It's a good sunny day. So I'll soak it all in the sun.
Have a sun nap.
Yes. Okay, cat.
Okay. My favorite.
Alors, à la prochaine.
À la prochaine. Merci.